What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and Game Week 18 is just chaos. I put out my team selection video earlier, and even since then there's been new updates with Calvert-Lewin and stuff like that, and obviously with Spurs versus Fulham being confirmed now for Game Week 18, I do think that changes the free hit slightly. So although I've not quite hit the button myself yet, I have thought about how I would change my free hit draft if I was free hitting this week because of Spurs versus Fulham, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. It's a nice, quick, simple one, talking about what draft I would go for, what structure, what kind of changes you could maybe make if you're looking to save a bit of money. So if you enjoy it, please do give it a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and let's jump into it. Okay, so let's get straight into the team, right? And there's a couple of caveats, as always. The first one is, at the time of recording, I have not hit the free hit button. For anyone that's been following my videos closely, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I might use the wildcard. I may just use no chips. But if I was wildcarding, this is what I would go for. I don't just put these videos up to try and pretend this is what I would go for. If I was free hitting, I think my team would pretty much be this team. There are a few changes I could make, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I don't see me making a huge amount of changes. And obviously the other caveat is, my team value is not necessarily the same as yours. So some of you will have more team value. Maybe you can eke out a few more players out of this. Maybe you can afford Diaz instead of Stones, for example. Some of you will have less team value than this. As always, this is not supposed to be here for you to copy. It's just to give you an idea of what I would do, right? So I think Spurs versus Fulham going into Game Week 18 has changed things quite a bit, because when it was Villa versus Spurs, and Spurs were away to Aston Villa, to Grealish, to Mings, etc., when everyone was fully fit, I thought that was quite a difficult fixture, right? It wasn't a fixture that I really wanted to target for Spurs players. But Fulham is a totally different kettle of fish, right? Spurs are at home. Neither side has had much time to prepare for the game, but I think that probably works in Spurs' favour more than Fulham, right? Spurs have got better quality players in general across their squad. Also with Fulham, we don't know exactly how much proper training they've been able to do, because don't forget, these matches are being rearranged because they had positive COVID tests, which is why they had to call them off. So how much training, which players are fully recovered, which players are still struggling, all this kind of information we're not quite sure about, but it certainly probably plays more into Spurs' hands than it does into Fulham. So I've gone from maybe wanting Son or Kane against Villa, potentially neither, to wanting a triple up on the free hit. So the only real thing that's kind of changed, I guess, is I don't have triple Arsenal anymore, which isn't that big a deal, I don't think. And I don't have triple Man United anymore, but I do have triple Spurs. Now, triple City remains. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I would say there's probably a few less punts on this. I just don't think there's necessarily as much room. So the likes of Sterling, who wasn't even fully fit for the last game, so I'm not sure he'll be available for this week. He's not in here. Aubameyang certainly isn't in here, right? There's no room for that. And I just think how good the Man City defence is, there's absolutely no harm in doubling up on the defence. Yes, it's what a lot of people will do, but you have to remember when you're free hitting that not every single FPL manager is going to hit the chip. It will feel like on YouTube, because people like me are talking about it, people are talking about it in the comments, on Twitter, everyone's talking about the free hit. It will feel like every single manager is free hitting this week. That's not going to be the case. So using the chip already is a differential. You go and try and find out in Game Week 18 how many people have this exact team. It probably won't be that many, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So double City defence looks good. You could take a punt on Gundogan or Foden or Sterling if he's fit. But I think double defence looks good to fit De Bruyne in there. And I think Man City defenders are better than Man United. So I'd probably rather have two Man United attackers in Rashford and Fernandes. And for my team, I've also been able to fit in Son and Kane as well. Now, this is where it gets tricky for a lot of you who've maybe got a little bit less team value. There are some places you can eke out a little bit more money. So Brewster could go down to Davis, right? That saves you 0.2 million. Reguilon could come down to Dyer. I think Dyer's 4.9 or 5 million. He may even be 5.1 now, but he would save you a little bit of money on Reguilon. That would maybe let you upgrade somewhere else, or potentially upgrade the bench or whatever. Instead of playing 3-5-2, you could play 3-4-3 as well. There's not too many players up front that I would still want, especially with Calvert-Lewin now out as well. So he'd be another worry for me. The other option is, of course, 4-5-1. So Wilson could come out, and you could put in like a Harry Maguire or a Wan-Bissaka or a Saiss, whoever it might be. That would save you quite a bit of money, because, yes, you'd have to put just another cheap striker up front, and you wouldn't have much of a bench. But you would have more money to spend in your first 11, right? Because Wilson's 6.5, Maguire's like $1 million cheaper, Saiss is more than $1 million cheaper. So that's an easier way to fit in these attackers. But If I was going into this game week, I think De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son and Kane are 4 players I would definitely want. I think Cancelo is a 5th, so they're pretty much all nailed on. I definitely want triple Man City, however that comes, right? Whether, like I said, it's Foden, Gundogan, Sterling, more likely Stones or Diaz. I do think, given that Stones played one half, Diaz played one half in the FA Cup, and Cancelo came off at halftime as well, and De Bruyne, they're pretty much nailed going into the next game. I have very few worries over John Stones now. I did when he first started playing, everyone was talking about it. I thought, no, there's no way he's going to keep starting. But he has. So right now I'm kind of happy with him. So triple Man City has to be it. I think triple Spurs, I just think Fulham's such a good fixture. I'd really want a defender. Like, I think Spurs versus Fulham is as good as Man United away to Burnley, or Arsenal at home to Crystal Palace. I probably wouldn't right now want to double up on Arsenal defence. I think Leno in goal in this case is probably fine. If you could stretch to David De Gea, that's probably just as good. But one Arsenal defender is not the end of the world. I just think doubling up, I'd probably rather have a Spurs one in there. Will Reguilon start or not is an interesting question. There's a few people that think like he's, because of the party that he went to over Christmas, he's been kind of like left out. But I'm not sure that's definitely the case, right? He missed the Leeds game, which, to be fair, was straight after that party, so maybe, but he was on the bench. Then he played the full game, I think, or at least started the game against Brentford in the EFL Cup, and that was quite a strong team. So to me, that still says his first choice, right? Then he doesn't start the FA Cup game, fine. Loads of players that were in that main 11 for Spurs didn't start that game, and he came on for about 15, 20 minutes or something. I think it was 19 minutes. So for me, Reguilon is still first choice left back, and I think he came on because Davis went off as well. They don't really have many other players that I think Jose Mourinho is going to want to play at left back. So I think Reguilon's pretty safe. How attacking he is kind of up for debate. I think compared to like a Chilwell or a Robertson or whoever it might be, even like a Dallas, right? I'm not sure he's quite that attacking, but we have seen some assists from him already. I've had him on my team for a while. He's quite a funny player that somehow has lasted in my team for ages. But I think he would be in there against Fulham. Son and Kane, look, their underlying stats are okay. They've not necessarily been brilliant recently, but they still managed to find a way to score goals. Like Son, I don't know if anyone saw the ESPN tweet, but he has been like 44% over his expected goals for like since 2016, right? Which is higher than Messi. Messi's usually about 21, 22% over, and Son's about 44% over, and he has been for 4 years now. So the guy can finish. We all know that. If Kane puts it on a plate for him, he's definitely scoring. So I think Kane versus Son for Fulham is great. Captaincy is probably the bigger issue now. Hopefully I can get a captaincy video out before the deadline. If I do, for me it's probably still De Bruyne right now, but I think Kane and Son do make a big case. And the fact that, like I said earlier about Fulham, not necessarily right up to full fitness or full squad or whatever it might be, their best 11, that does play into Spurs' hand. And their players, like I said, have had quite a bit of a rest. So Kane and Son could be nice captains. So could Fernandes against Burnley. I think as much as everyone thinks everyone's going to have the same free hit team, there's 4 different captains to choose from, right? De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son, Kane. That's before you even start talking about differential captains as well. So I do think there'll be some varied teams. The only thing I guess I'm not 100% on is double Man United attack. You could get rid of Rashford, and play 3-4-3. So play De Bruyne, Fernandes, Saka, Son. And instead of Brewster, just have Lacazette instead. If you think Arsenal attack's that good, you're basically choosing Saka and Lacazette or Rashford and Fernandes, basically. Which two are the best to double up on? You have Saka either way, you have Fernandes either way. So it really is just Rashford versus Lacazette, but it's double United or double Arsenal. I think Burnley is that type of game that can be difficult, but we have seen big teams smash Burnley before, like put 2 or 3 past them. Liverpool put, Man City put 5 past them back in Gameweek 10, I think it was. So it can be done. I prefer Rashford, but maybe that's just because I can afford it, right? Going for Lacazette instead and going for a 4.5 million midfielder would save you like another million to spend. So this is the kind of layout and structure that I think I would go for. Leno, I'm not hugely worried about in goal. It could be David De Gea if you've got extra money. To go for a Man United defender instead of Arsenal. But it's not enough for me to kind of worry about how I get that extra 0.4 million out to get David De Gea. Cancelo and Stones are pretty much nailed in my team at this point. De Bruyne for sure, Fernandes for sure, Kane and Son. It's about fitting the rest in. And Saka is so cheap, it's pretty difficult not to go for him on a free hit. So that's my team. Let me know in the comments below what you think. There we go. That's it for this one. Nice and quick. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here as well. And let me know in the comments below, how are your free hit teams getting along, or coming along, I should say? And have you found it easier or harder now that Spurs have been put in? I feel like it's much easier because 3 City, 3 Spurs, and then you just work out the rest, right? Obviously, if you want to go a bit different, it's a bit more difficult, but not going for Son or Kane, or both, is very tricky this week. I think it's a really good fixture, and they're so highly owned as well. They can hurt you like they have done for many of us over the last few weeks. So let me know in the comments below. If you want to sign up and support me even further, you can sign up to Patreon, patreon.com/letstalkfpl. There's a link to that in the description. Everyone that signs up goes up on the Legends Wall. Thank you to everyone that's already supporting. If you want to check it out, link in the description below. I won't say right now exactly what videos are coming because I don't know when this is going out and I don't know what videos I'm going to do on Tuesday, but I will definitely have a deadline stream which will be absolute chaos. So make sure to tune in for that tomorrow. Until then, I will catch you soon.